Do you want a man for president who's seasoned through and through, but not so doggone seasoned that he won't try something new? A man who's old enough to know
and young enough to do?
Well, it's up to you, it's up to you, it's strictly up to you. But it's Kennedy, 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 Kennedy for me.
Kennedy, 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 Kennedy.
Do you want a man with spirit who is not afraid to fight?
A man whose record shows that he will fight for what is right.
A loyal man who'll bring the job a fresh new point of view. Well, it's up to you, it's up to you, it's strictly up to you. Because it's Kennedy, 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 Kennedy,
Kennedy, Kennedy, Kennedy, Kennedy.
And do you deny to any man the right he's guaranteed to be elected president, no matter what his creed?
It's promised in the Bill of Rights to which we must be true.
So it's up to you, it's up to you, it's strictly up to you. And it's Kennedy, 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 Kennedy for me.
Kennedy, 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 Kennedy.
Do you like a man who answers straight, a man who's always fair? We'll measure him against the others, and when you compare, you cast your vote for Kennedy and the change that's overdue. So it's up to you, it's up to you, it's strictly up to you. Yes, it's Kennedy, 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 Kennedy for me. Kennedy, 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 Kennedy,
Welcome from my humble second bedroom here in the Saucon Valley, part of the Lehigh Valley, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, in these United States, North American continent, Western Hemisphere, on this planet Earth. Only one we have. Third rock from the sun in the Terran solar system, part of the Milky Way galaxy. This is TKE Tonight, the Kennedy Effect Tonight for the 20th of January. 2025. An inflection point, a very historic day in the history of this country. One that we just may not recover from. Our country has forever changed and will not be the same. And we better get used to it. And I don't say that lightly. Truly, I do not. But it is the truth of the matter. We have to be honest about that. That the country changed today. And that we may not be the same going forward, and that the damage that's coming just might be irreparable. Let's get through the business end of things, shall we? Now, today is Monday. We have not been with you on a Monday for probably a couple of months, perhaps. So a special Monday program. We want to do nothing other than give you a place to talk, to put your comments, to vent, to tell me where to go, tell me you agree with me, tell me you hate my glasses, whatever it might be. We are here for you. I hope you have avoided mainstream corporate media today. If you did plan or attempt or make time to watch any of the ceremonies, I hope you did it on C-SPAN or PBS and not anywhere else. I did not watch a lick of it, nor do I intend to. There isn't a terrible lot to have been seen, apparently. But we're here to let you vent about it and talk about it. Very quick hitting 1 hour program, just like we do Tuesdays and Thursdays. Quick programming note. Following us immediately from 9 p.m.'s Cold Dead Hands with Brett and Ben. 9 p.m. right here on GCPR. 11 p.m. Conversations with T. Nathan. Thomas returns tomorrow morning from 8 a.m. with the sound of coffee. GCPR will be here until they put us in a camp. We will not capitulate. We will not turn the power off. We will not give in. We are here. Now, partly we're here because a lot of our programming is not political in nature. Some of it very much is. Pastor Best, Thomas, Cold Dead Hands. Some of it could not be further from political. Rules of Nerdquisition, Help Desk. So there's a lot here. And we are here for and with you. And so I thank you for being here on short notice. Probably not my best job of publicizing the program today, but I do work for a living. I have a regular really 50-hour-a-week job on top of this. So I probably didn't do the promotions that I should have, but we are here. We are live. We'll take you right up to 9 o'clock. I want to hear anything that you have to say. Tell me I'm full of it. Tell me you agree with me. Tell me it's somewhere in between. Are you sad? Are you angry? Are you sick? Are you leaving the country? Are you hunkering down, locking the doors, keeping to yourself? Or are you emboldened to fight for change and to fight to try to save what's left of this country? Business end of the program. This is TKE Tonight, the Kennedy Effect tonight, live for the 20th of January, 2025. We are live right now on the Facebook pages of Ghost Claw Productions, Our Revolution Pennsylvania, the TCP Media Group, my own Facebook, Jeff Kennedy, and of course, our home group Facebook page for all things that surround the Kennedy Effect. That Other Side of Information is also the name of our YouTube channel, That Other Side of Information. We are live there right now as well. I checked. We're there. That one, at least, is working. We are live on Twitch. Jeff R. Kennedy or Jeff Kennedy Talk Host. Just put Jeff Kennedy up in the search. You'll find me. We're live on LinkedIn as well. LinkedIn continues to be a place where this program does very, very well, and I can't explain it. It's really not the kind of platform. LinkedIn was really not created for things like this, but we seem to do well there, so I'm cool with that. The audio, of course, blasts around the globe via gcpr.live, gcpr.live, www.gcpr.live. That's our website. You can go there. Watch the YouTube channel for free. The YouTube channel streams on our website. And you can listen there for free as well. You can find out our complete broadcast schedule, find out bios of all the hosts, and find out what all the shows are about. And I believe within the next 2 months or so, we should have as many as 3 new shows debuting on our radio station, GCPR.live. A very special hello to those of you listening to GCPR or watching me on any of the socials from outside the United States. I can only imagine what you folks must be thinking tonight. We're going to try to put it into some context, both tonight, although I much would rather hear from you tonight about what you're thinking. There'll be plenty of time to put this into context before they throw me in a camp, in a detention camp. We'll do as much as we can until they jail me. 8:09 Eastern Time. Again, we'll take you right to 9 o'clock, cold dead hands, conversations with T. Nathan from 11. Thomas returns tomorrow morning. From the Associated Press, let's jump right into it. The Associated Press is pounding out live updates about as quick as somebody can type and hit post. Headline, Trump moves to quickly flex power. And after all, that's what this was all about anyway, power. Trump has issued pardons for all of the January 6th rioters. He just created his army. 1920s Italy had the black shirts. 1930s Germany had the brown shirts. I don't know what color shirts Trump's militia will be choosing, but he just created them. The great thing about video is that it never goes away. The video of January 6th will never disappear and will never disappear from the historical record. And for all of you who have been kind enough to listen to this program, either consistently or on and off, who think I have been doom scrolling and bloviating and wallowing in fear and anger and dramatically overstating the situation here. Those of you who may not have agreed with my use of the words fascism and feudalism, well, now here you go. About 1,500 people who attacked the Capitol, broke windows, broke in, beat police to death. 1 dead that day, 3 others who committed suicide shortly thereafter. Injured countless so that they could never return to work. Beat them with American flags and flagpoles. Ripped their own clubs and mace off of them and used it against them. These supposed people who support the police, except on January 6th when they tried to kill them all. These people who wanted to kill all the members of Congress. Josh Hawley couldn't have felt that safe. He ran through the halls of the Senate to get away from them to save his own life. The ones who trashed all the offices, who stole files and computers, who smeared their feces all over the walls. They are now all out of jail, or will be soon. Trump bought their loyalty. And if he tells them to arm up and suit up, they will. Because now they think they just got away with it. Nobody gets to tell me anymore that I'm the one that's going over the edge, or exacerbating the situation, or talking in these extreme terms. People who tried to kill police officers and tried to kill elected officials, and staff for that matter, are now all going to walk free as if nothing happened. Marco Rubio has been unanimously confirmed to be Secretary of State, meaning 0 votes against. All senators voting from both parties approved his appointment. I mean, I wouldn't, but I would have at least made it a little harder. Republicans kept cabinet positions open for Joe Biden until the fall of 2021. He didn't have a full cabinet until 2021 was almost over. If I was Democrats, I would have at least made it a little harder. I have advocated in this country, whenever Democrats have been out of power, you've heard me say a lot that we could learn a lot from Europe. Social democratic governments throughout Western Europe were largely patterned after and created by the United States in the New Deal. When there were few functioning governments throughout Western Europe following World War II, many of these nations wrote brand new constitutions. Not all of them. Many did. They redrew parliamentary districts. They reestablished their parliaments, sometimes with brand new rules. New parties emerged. But the idea that the common person had dignity and could not be truly free unless they were economically free, free from want, free from economic fear, free from the fear of being homeless, that you can't have real freedom, that came from us. And they decided not to use the type of constitutional system that we have here, but rather a parliamentary system. One of the things that I've always thought we could learn from the parliamentary system is the idea of the shadow government. Now, in the UK, Labour Party happens to be in power right now. Conservatives have what's called a shadow government. The leader of their party is the shadow prime minister. They have a shadow secretary of defense. Well, they would be ministers. They have ministries. They don't have cabinet departments. Ministry of Defense. They have a shadow ministry of the Treasury, minister of the Treasury, and so on and so on and so on. It's actually called the Exchequer. That details. Democrats need to form a shadow government, and every minute of every day, push back, continue to tell the truth, be a hell of a lot more blunt, a hell of a lot louder, a hell of a lot more direct, and fight every time the man takes a breath. Because that's all they've done to us since 1980. Trump issues sweeping pardons. The supporters charged in the January 6th, 2021 Capitol attack. This has been written by Alana Durkin-Richer and Michael Kunzelman, literally from just about 10 minutes ago, Dateline Washington. President Trump on Monday said he was pardoning 1,500 of his supporters who had been charged in the January 6, 2021 U.S. Capitol attack, using his sweeping clemency powers on his first day back in office to dismantle the largest investigation and prosecution in Justice Department history. The pardons were expected after Trump's years-long campaign to rewrite history. For January 6th, the attack that left more than 100 police officers injured and threatened the peaceful transfer of power. Yet the scope of the clemency still comes as a massive blow to the Justice Department's effort to hold participants accountable over what has been described as one of the darkest days in American history. Trump also commuted prison sentences of leaders of the Oath Keepers and Proud Boys convicted of seditious conspiracy for what prosecutors described as plots to keep Trump in power after he lost the 2020 election. Fascists always rewrite history. Dictators always rewrite history. They bend the arc of history to their will and to their favor. 100 police officers injured, 4 dead in what Trump says was the day of love. I suppose, in a manner of speaking, it was a day of love. They loved to kill and injure and maim. New round of executive actions. This is also from the Associated Press. This is being updated live as we speak. Trump is using his first appearance, second term in the Oval Office, to sign another series of executive actions. Here are some of the key things he has signed. We talked about the pardons and commutations, overhauling the refugee admission program to better align with American principles and interests. It sounds like a campaign slogan rather than a headline from the Associated Press. Pretty disappointing. National emergency at the Mexico border, even though apprehensions of illegal border crossings here at the end of the Biden administration were at a 10-year low, if I'm not mistaken. Lows that had not been seen since the Obama administration. Designating drug cartels as foreign terrorist organizations. I don't necessarily have a problem with that, believe it or not. Let me see. It's jumping around. Let me see. Having issues with this. Really? Gosh. Oh, I see. 7 new updates already. Okay. Let me see what we got here. Trump says tariffs could start as early as February 1st. To anybody who might be listening to us in Canada, Chrystia Freeland is really the only choice for Prime Minister. Not just because she's Labor, the Labor Party, which I happen to align myself with infinitely more than the Conservatives, but she is campaigning extensively as someone who will stand up to Trump and tell him exactly where to go when it's appropriate. For anybody who might be listening to us in Canada, Chrystia Freeland, I think, is honestly your only choice for Prime Minister. I would vote Labor. You're going to need somebody to stand up against this would-be totalitarian, who basically is at this point. Here's the thing. Trump can really never be Mussolini. He wishes he had the charisma of a Mussolini. But he can never really be as deeply dictatorial as he wishes he could be. Because ultimately, even he himself is owned. The billionaires own him too. Even if he is a billionaire in his own right, they own him too. They own the entire Trump party. They finance it, they operate it, they run it. They tell it what to think, what to do, and how to do it. And he's part of it. He's a cog in the machine. He might be the largest, and he's certainly the most out front, but ultimately he's not more than an employee of the billionaires himself. He can never be the depth of dictator that Mussolini was, because he has people controlling it. He wishes he could be that powerful. He wants to be that powerful. But ultimately, there's always going to be someone else for him to answer to. Mussolini answered to no one. Putin answers to no one. Orban answers to no one. Xi answers to no one. Let me see. I'm trying to scroll through some of the Trump executive order keeps TikTok online for now. The ban on TikTok was a piece of legislation. It went through Congress. It was supported bipartisanly. It is actually constitutionally unconstitutional for him to overturn it with an executive order. It is quite literally unconstitutional. An act of Congress must be overturned by an act of Congress. And that's not to say that I necessarily want to see the ban on TikTok continue. Not necessarily. It was an act of Congress that banned TikTok in the first place. It was adjudicated in the courts and it was upheld as legal. Trump quite literally cannot, according to the Constitution, overturn the legislation himself. So why is this a big deal? Is it a big deal because of TikTok? No. It's because he's already flagrantly ignoring, bypassing, and breaking the Constitution. He took an oath today. One hand up and one hand at his side. Didn't touch his own Bibles. How do you like that, evangelicals? How do you like that, corporate Christians? Refused to put his hand on a Bible. He swore an oath to protect and defend the Constitution. He's already broken it. Now, he broke it before he ever drew breath to take the oath in the first place, but he's already broken it with the executive order on TikTok. An executive order cannot overrule a piece of legislation that has gone through the entire legislative process. The Trump party people, they don't care about that. They don't care about the Constitution. They wrap themselves in it and march out to 30% of the uneducated public, and they hold it up and talk about how much they love it and follow it while they break it every day. That's what dictators do. That's what fascists do. They love themselves some Constitution. They love to tell everybody they love some Constitution, and then they break it every chance they get. And every chance that's convenient, every chance that can make them money or gain them more power. That's what dictators do. That's what fascist governments do. If you were with me last night, and thank you if you were, you know that I said that today was a real inflection point in our country. A change, a transitional time. Fascism is fully, purely ingrained, done deal now. I don't think we can honestly look in the mirror and call ourselves, as a nation, collectively, figuratively, look in the mirror and call ourselves a functioning democracy any longer. I think that's done now. And I don't think it's hyperbole. We're done now. Democracy's done. It's in the rearview mirror. What we're now going to witness is a further transmutation from fascism into feudalism. An executive order that is blatantly unconstitutional shows you that fascism is fully ingrained. We ignore Constitution whenever we feel like it. Talk of banning TikTok, by the way, started during the first Trump administration. Now suddenly he's going to save it. I can't break into your house, steal your wedding ring, and then 3 days later show up on your front door and give it back to you and somehow consider myself a savior. I'm the one that stole it from you in the first place. All of this talk of shutting down TikTok began with Trump. Him now saving it, air quotes, is what Bill Barr would generally refer to as bullshit. I'm so sorry, but my phone is just signed an executive order declaring a border emergency. We mentioned that a little bit at the top. Border crossings are at 10-year lows. We have not seen border crossings this low since the Obama administration. We have not seen apprehensions of illegal border crossings. The apprehensions this low since the Obama administration. Illegal immigration was actually up from the Obama years. It went up under the first Trump administration. Why? I have no idea. I think, honestly, it shows you just how damn desperate some of these people are to come to a fascist country. I think there were still a couple drips and drabs and elements of democracy left during his first term. Not now. Gotta tell you, if I was a desperate immigrant, I'd stop in Mexico. Or I'd see if I couldn't float my way around the United States and Canada. And if I did cross into the States, I'd just keep heading north. Trump acknowledged an imminent legal challenge to overturning birthright citizenship, which has been enshrined in the U.S. Constitution since 1868. He said automatic citizenship was, quote, just ridiculous, and that he believes he was on good legal ground to change it. Vivek Ramaswamy, who actually ran for president and was supposed to be the co-chair of Trump's government efficiency, semi-government agency, yet privately run, who's now running for governor of Ohio, by the way, is a birthright citizen. Trump's own son is a birthright citizen. I'm trying to see what else we. Trump revokes protections for transgender troops set by Biden. Quote, the previous administration has embedded deeply unpopular, inflationary, illegal, and radical practices from within every government agency and office of the federal government, Trump said in a statement accompanying his order, which revoked dozens of previous Biden orders, including the transgender protections. The number of transgender troops known to be serving is possibly from around 9,000, could be as many as 14,000. The Department of Defense has referred queries on the number of transgender troops to individual services, and because of the different ways transgender troops can identify and whether or not they have received medical procedures, there is no database that tracks that. Now I'm trying to find some quotes from the speech. I am Trying, anyway. Trump seeks to remake border security, but his efforts will face legal challenges. All of this, of course, from the Associated Press, Rebecca Santana, Elliot Spagnet, and Gisela Salmon. Washington. President Trump's promises to beef up security at the southern border with Mexico began taking effect soon after he was inaugurated Monday, making good on his defining political promise to crack down on immigration and marking another wild swing in White House policy on the divisive issue. It's one thing that the Trump party does. We're not calling them Republicans anymore. They're not. The Republican Party is dead now. It does not exist. There are Trumpers owned by the billionaires, and there's the Democratic Party. Trump Party is excellent at getting shit done. Democrats are in control. We hem and we haw and we fight with each other and we argue and we analyze and we have commissions and studies. Trump's transition team had over 300 executive orders ready to go. A good number of them wiping out multiple or canceling out multiple policies from the Biden administration. Not one for one, but maybe one for 10. He's going to remake government through executive order. And then, oh yeah, by the way, the Trump party has control of the House and the Senate. And then, of course, there's the corporate-owned Supreme Court. They're going to get shit done. Democrats could learn a little something from this. When you are in power, you better get shit done. President Biden accomplished a lot. It was one of the most productive 4-year terms in the history of the country, and arguably the most progressive since the New Deal, certainly since the Great Society. But they did not codify abortion protections, women's health care protections. They did nothing on gun. They did very little, some changes on weapon safety protections. They did nothing on tariffs. They did not wipe out student debt. They did not have single-payer health care. They did not change and clean up the Supreme Court, which is the purview of Congress. The Trump party knows how to get shit done. They know how to get it done. What I was actually trying to find, here we go. In a concrete sign of how the changes were already playing out. Now, again, this is minutes, if not just a few hours after being sworn in. He's already done this. Migrants who had appointments to enter the U.S. using the CBP1 app saw them canceled minutes after Trump was sworn in, and Mexico agreed to allow people seeking U.S. asylum to remain south of the American border while their court cases play out. So, immigration literally has an app. It's a phone app. Through the app from Mexico, you can schedule yourself an appointment to meet with immigration authorities to have your case heard. They then would decide whether you can enter the country or not. Trump has canceled all of those appointments. And now these people are going to be living outdoors at the U.S. border on the Mexican side. Trump never got Mexico to pay for the wall, but he's certainly getting Mexico to pay a lot of money to keep these people alive in a humanitarian way. But it shows you what this administration is going to be about. The camera doesn't go that well. I could use the back of my hand, I guess. Here's us. Here's us. And here's what's coming. Brush sheet right under. In a Trump world, in an oligarchy, in a fascist society, in a feudalistic society, there's only 3 types of human beings left. Do you generate wealth through your labor? Do you generate wealth through your consumerism? And if you do none of those 2 things, and you're in that 3rd group, die. We will deny you an education, we'll deny you health care, we'll deny you everything we can so you can just die and get out of the way. Remember, Democrats and Trumpers had an agreement. It was the Trump Party senators that wrote it. And Democrats were going to vote for it. And Trump said, you can't pass this. I need to campaign on it. The most comprehensive and toughest border protection bill in the history of the country, written by Trumpers. And at the time, Majority Leader Schumer said, Democrats will support this. We will vote for it. And Trump killed it. He killed it for him, not for any of us. Not because he actually cares about border security. He needed the campaign issue. Trump has begun signing a slew of executive orders on day one. What are his priorities? Colleen Long, Bill Barrow, and Jill Colvin of the Associated Press. President Trump has begun his promised flurry of executive action on day one with his first batch of memoranda and orders. Trump repealed dozens of former President Joe Biden's actions and withdrew the U.S. from the Paris Climate Accords, among other actions. He also says he's pardoned hundreds of people for the roles in the January 621 attack. We know that. Trump, meanwhile, has additional executive orders awaiting his signature as he returns to the White House for the first time since his swearing in earlier today. Those documents would end diversity, equity, and inclusion funding, crack down on border crossings, and ease regulations on oil and natural gas production. He's promised dozens of other actions, although it's unclear whether he'll make good on his pledge to do them all the first day. Here's a look at some of them. We talked about the pardons already. In a made-for-TV display at the Capital One Arena on Monday evening, Trump signed a largely symbolic memorandum that he described as directing every federal agency to combat consumer inflation. I would say that this is tantamount to you saying, I'm going to win the lottery. That's a bad example. It's tantamount to you saying, I'm going to cure cancer, and then having absolutely no plan on how to do that because you're not a doctor. One of the things that fascinates me about the Trump Party, Trump and his followers, is that he can say these dreadfully broad-based things that have no real basis in reality. They have no plan. They have no Nothing. I'm going to do this, whatever that thing is. He has no plan for how to do those things. Never generally does those things. But his followers suck it up like water in a desert. If they only trusted themselves, believed themselves as much as they believe him. Then again, one of the things that Reaganism was designed to do was to make people so desperate to just live their own lives, so desperate for income, to make housing desperate to obtain, to make an education hard to obtain, to make health hard to obtain, that you spend all your time trying to do those things just to keep yourself alive. You can't pay attention to much else. You end civics education, because when you don't know how government works, it's really hard to bitch about it. So Trump can issue these very broad-based statements of intent, statements of principle, but you have to have principles to be able to state them. And they can never get done, and never will get done. But his followers will soak them all up. Go ahead, Randall.
It's not Randall.
Oh. Why did you say? Oh, you used the. Oh, because you used the. All right. You did. Oh, I thought you butt dialed me. Got to be honest with you.
No.
I saw it ring. It popped up once and disappeared really quick. I'm like, hey, he bumped the wrong thing.
No, I called the personal cell phone, and I called the show number.
I would, if you said, I would have probably answered it if you told me.
No, I mean, no. If you put, I put it, in the chat. No, you put in the GCPR chat that you can only be, contacted through there. Anyway,
see, only you know. I did not, you know better than anybody. This is what we're down to now, unless we get some help here soon.
Yeah, I know. I know. Soon.
Oh yeah.
Soon doesn't come.
No.
I did not see the installation today, so I'm very sorry. I can't really call it an inauguration.
I didn't either. I had to work for a living. That's what I called it. I mean, there was a lot on social media about what would you call what just happened? It's an installation.
Yeah.
It's another piece in the machine. It's like a spark plug or the transmission or whatever you want to call it. This is all one big billionaire owned and operated machine, and he's just another damn piece in it.
Yep.
So today,
I guess
he was plugged into place.
I guess he must have been painted orange, but like an orange part. So.
Not that he needed the protection
so we got
from the sun inside.
For 4 years. Isn't that wonderful? Yeah.
Not that he needed the protection from the sun inside. But yeah. I don't know. Look, it's amazing that the Bible that he put his hand on today didn't actually burn up. He did not put his hand on the Bible today. If you look at the pictures, okay, Melania is holding what appears to be a stack of like 3 different Bibles, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's 3. Oh, is that like the Patriot Bible? Well, I would assume. I know in his first term, he there was some Bible from Lincoln, I think, which is beyond ironic. A family Bible, and then there was, I think it was just the 2. I think there was 3 today, and I couldn't tell you what they are, and it's irrelevant. It doesn't matter at this point.
Yeah,
But if you look at the
maybe he put
picture,
his hand.
anybody can look at the
I
picture.
think maybe he put his hand on the art of the deal. You know, maybe he did that.
It might have been, but he's standing with his right hand up, and his left hand is down at his side. The Bibles are in front of him.
Yeah.
He's not touching any of them. So I can't wait.
Yeah.
My challenge is out there, and all of you who might be listening to this live or on the recording. My challenge to all of you is to find that corporate Christian, Joel Osteen loving, white nationalist evangelical in your life who's been telling you that it's the Democrats that are the Antichrist. Ask them why. Ask them why their Savior didn't put his hand on a Bible today. They will have no answer for you. None. But I hope they burst a blood vessel while they think about it and try and bullshit their way out of it. Folks, there's a lot of different things that we can be disgusted by today. There's a lot of different things that can genuinely scare us today. There's a lot of things that we can make fun of and have a chuckle at today. But the United States is not the same nation that it was before 12 noon today. Whatever remaining vestiges of democracy were still functional in this country, they are not anymore. We are a fully...
Maybe in appearance.
And we'll try to proselytize that outside to the rest of the world, but in reality, it won't be happening here.
The one excerpt from Bill Maher said, you know, because he referenced the movie Red Dawn. He said you're not going to see tanks in the streets and soldiers and everything on every street corner. It's going to start very slowly. I mean, no, it may come to that, but it'll start very slowly. Things will start to appear normal, you know.
The American people have been the frog in the pot of boiling water for 44 years now. Arguably even more than that since Nixon. We've been the frog in the water. Now we're burnt beyond recognition. The water has all but boiled away. The damage is done, and it is irreparable. This is a genuine, real inflection point in history today. This is bombing of Pearl Harbor. This is the first shots at Fort Sumter. This is the Boston Tea Party. This is the stock market crash of 29. Except that this might be the last inflection point in American history. We are not a democracy. Period. The first step to solving a problem is admitting you have one. I drink too much, I eat too much, I gamble too much. I really should fix that light bulb or that, I really should upgrade this kitchen. I really need a new car. First, solving a problem is admitting you have one. Well,
I really need a new computer.
Yeah, you're not kidding. We have a problem here now. And that is that we're no longer a democracy. Period. That's all done now.
It's a big shit sandwich, and everybody has to take a bite.
That's all done. Yep. Do we take the next step into feudalism? We're certainly on the way. If you haven't seen Elon Musk's Hitler salute yet, you need to.
Yeah, I've seen it. No, I've seen it.
Because it's real. It's not by mistake. He wasn't reaching out to swat a fly. It's none of that. It's an actual Hitler salute. You need to see it. That's where we are now. He owns these people.
Mm-hmm.
Trump may not be a fan of the press and the big personality that Musk is, but he owns him, and Musk knows it. And he owns the Trump party, or at least a damn good chunk of it.
Mm-hmm.
It is a genuine Hitler salute. It's not accidental. You really got to watch it. It's. I'm gobsmacked by it, like genuinely thrown by it. In his speech today, among the couple of things that I can recall, Trump said that the United States will expand its territory. How do you think we're going to do that?
We're going to take over Greenland, aren't we?
Well, I don't think the Danes are just going to hand it over. President Macron of France has already said the United States better not consider putting troops on EU soil. While the EU itself is not a military alliance, Macron has said openly the response will be an EU response. Trump hates brown people, so we're not going to annex Mexico. Canada's a sovereign nation and wants no part of being American.
If he hates brown people, what's going to happen to J.D. Vance's wife, and what's going to happen to Vivek, whatever?
Well,
the douchebags of government, the douchebags of government efficiency.
He's going to be the next governor of Ohio, because Ohio is a dead red state and doesn't really think for itself anymore. So if he comes out with the Trump nomination, he'll be the next governor, period. Democrats don't win elections in Ohio anymore. Ohio's a one-party state, period. Among the other things that Trump said today, which I think is a good place to end, we only have a couple minutes left. Trump referred to himself as the most persecuted president in history. That no one has gone through more than he. Now, I'm not a history professor, do not have a doctorate in history. Seems to me Lincoln went through some things.
I just put that statement into Grammarly and ChatGPT. It didn't say persecuted. It said prosecuted. Sorry. Just want to make that correction.
Well, he referred to himself as the most tested. I forget the word he actually used. Or persecuted, maybe.
Mm.
Seems to me Lincoln had some stuff to deal with. Franklin Roosevelt had some stuff to deal with. John Kennedy, who was literally minutes away from a nuclear war, had some stuff to go through.
They're pigs.
Oh, the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Cuban Missile Crisis, yeah.
When both nations were just pretty much ready to launch an attack at any moment.
Yeah.
It's a whole new ballgame, kids. As we wrap up, we need to end the program. Cold Dead Hands coming up immediately after us. We're done for tonight. We will be back tomorrow from 8 p.m. Hopefully George will be with us as well. Sorry that none of the other hosts called in tonight. That was the original plan. I got left out here again. Not a worry. We're good. We're big kids. We can.
I wanted to call in just to show solidarity.
One of these days, George and I are going to get this computer stuff figured out.
Sorted.
And he'll actually be able to be back on screen with me the way he's supposed to be. Anyway, I'll talk to you soon, all right?
All right, you take care.
Bye. That's about all we got for tonight. For everybody at GCPR, that's Thomas, Brett, and Ben, who are coming up next, T. Nathan, everybody, just everybody, Gilbert Gambit, Gretchen, Bob, Pastor Best. I won't remember everybody. I never do, unfortunately. Hurricane Girls, everybody. For everybody that surrounds this program. George, you just heard from. Lynn, Kristen, Daisy. Of course, April Riddick as well. I am Jeff Kennedy. Hang in there. Try to stay strong. And just remember, the first step to solving a problem is admitting you have one. We're not a democracy anymore. We do not live in a democracy anymore. To the listeners of GCPR from outside the United States, tell your friends and family this is no longer a democracy. Can we return it to a democracy? Can we keep fascism from sliding into feudalism? That's the challenge of the day. We'll see you tomorrow night. Cold Dead Hands starts right now.